afternoon, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I am your host, Miss Tiffany Daniels, also known as the Lady Autist. So, we're going to be covering a couple of things today. I do want to cover what I have in regards to JDAH and what I've been seeing online most recently from the trolls first. If you do stay after that, I do want to talk about the CM situation with musical and how that has blown up into the gigantic monstrosity of a mess it has come to now. Okay, so let's get started. So, what I saw last night online is that some of the AH stands, at least one I can think of in particular, have taken to using handles that are similar to some of the larger or more well-known JD supporters. And then they will start, well, they do one of two things. They either stand her hard or put out deliberately baiting posts on their site. Now, there's a couple of things I can think of as reasons to do this. First one is obvious, which is trolls gonna troll. You can have just a regular old troller who really just doesn't have anything better to do with COVID, and they're simply just doing it to do it. They're doing it to get a rise out of people. They really don't care one way or the other about what's going on with the cause or AH. They're just doing it to get a rise out of people because that's kind of how they get their kicks. The second way is it's deliberate baiting. It's deliberate baiting, first of all, of the person that they are trying to impersonate, so to speak. It is basically, it's a direct attack on the person that they are looking to imitate. Second of all, it's a way to galvanize those who are followers of the person they are impersonating, and through them to the others that are a part of those who support JD into a reaction. It's a baiting tactic because what they want, what they're using it for, is the same thing that they use all their other tactics for. They want that angry, abusive, foul language reaction. They are trying to drag us down to their level. See, most of us who have come to JD's side, who are maybe more just casual fans or kind of hear of them every so often in passing, came to this due to the facts going out there. For Incredibly Average Brian, you have people like the real Laura B, who would be constantly just tweeting out the facts all the time. And that's what would be how we would come to our information. So, you're talking about people who don't really trust main media sites for our information. We tend to do our own research. And because of that, we tend to be on a little bit more of the critical thinking side of things. So the things that we post, we're not deliberately going out there and looking for AH stands in order to attack them. So this flies in the face then of her narrative and theirs, that we are just a group of uncontrollable, aggressive fans that JD has organized to harass, attack, and abuse her on social media and online. So, if they want to get that reaction, if they want to provoke us to, so they can get a reaction that better suits her narrative, what's one way to do that if you're catching on to all the other tactics that they're using than to start impersonating JD's supporters and putting out there deliberate, baiting, insulting tweets so that they can then use those angry reactions and be able to say, hey, look at what they're saying. Look at what they're saying. They are absolutely abusive. Look at this, and this. So, what do we do when this comes up? Well, they are, in fact, impersonating another person. So, in these cases, instead of challenging them or tweeting them back or engaging with them in any way, shape, or form, just don't feed the trolls. You feed the trolls, they're going to keep coming around, right? You know the old saying. What you do is you just go ahead, you report, you ghost, you block. That way you don't have to lose brain spells trying to engage with these folks. Clearly they have already chosen their side. If they're willing to go to that much effort just to discredit us, there's nothing more we can say or do that's going to change what they think. So, that's a little bit on that. Now, I want to get into the Sia situation. I know a lot of you don't really understand where all this backlash is even coming from. Because an actor's job is to act, right? I mean, nobody's going to say that JD was chosen to play Jack Sparrow because in real life he's actually a pirate, right? Nobody's going to say that. No one's going to say that. Now, I get that point. I do. But representation matters, especially when you're portraying folks with neurological disabilities. And from past movies and media portrayals, it's not looking good, folks. It's not looking good at all. And the fact is, as we know, those of us who support JD, most of people's opinions, where they get their ideas from, is media and Hollywood. So if media and Hollywood are portraying two-dimensional stereotypes when it comes to a particular disability, what are they going to think of people like me? Exactly that. Now, to get started, a lot of people brought up Rain Man, and any of you who've seen these videos know Rain Man is a trigger for me. And I'm going to tell you why. First off, the character, the person that Rain Man is based off of, was not even autistic. Let me tell you that again. The person that the character Rain Man, that the movie's based off of, does not have a diagnosis of autism. He has another neurological disorder. Now, this movie has been used for years and years, ever since it came out, as an accurate portrayal of what people are like with autism. Obviously, from what I just said, you're already seeing the problem here. Well, it's not just that. It also set a harmful stereotype in regards to what people with autism are actually like. It gave this two-dimensional picture of a person who never made eye contact. The ecloia, the repeating of words, you've seen me do it at least a little bit bit, not as noticeably as maybe Rain Man, but it's definitely out there a little bit. And it's just this idea that all autistic people are like Rain Man. We all know math. We're all secret math savant geniuses when it comes to that one topic. They call it special interests when you're doing your assessments. And it portrays basically someone who's it makes us seem like children, like non-communicative, non-interacting children is what that movie does. And it created a horrible stereotype that has caused more damage to not just autism, but disability rights than you can possibly know. We're talking over 30 years of damage, and we're still confronted with that movie everywhere we turn. Okay, so what are some of the others out there that's got us so upset? Well, you've got one of the other famous ones. You have movies like Forrest Gump, right? The portrayal of Forrest Gump. And again, it's this infantizing of the person with a disability. This idea that we have the minds of children, that we need these non-disabled people in order for us to live better lives, that we need them to basically tell us how to live our lives and like lead us around on a leash almost. You get what I'm saying, that basically we need to be taken care of. Now, I didn't really understand that until I got older and started talking to some of the others in the disability rights movement. But yes, Forrest Gump, just like Green Man, is a problem. Now let's talk more recent portrayals. Let's talk about Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. Okay, granted, finally somebody that is not automatically just like Rain Man. However, it's still a stereotype. It is still a two-dimensional character. I'm smarter than everyone in the room. I am inconsiderate and don't care about anybody else's in the room's opinion. I am always right. Just the level of his inability to interact with everyone. His absolute focus on his special interests to the point it excludes everyone else. It takes these traits and exaggerates them to the extreme. Yes, they were trying to go for comedic value, but now people look at Sheldon Cooper and think that's what people are like me are all like. So, representation does matter. Now, these stereotypes, what we're talking about, these portrayals in the media, from the infomercials, from what have you, are extremely damaging, and they come from the minds of folks who are not on the spectrum, who are not neurologically disabled, and those who did not even go out into the communities to speak with these groups of people to get an idea about what their perspective as a person with a disability, what their lives are like. You get these two-dimensional figures, you get the world associating you with them, and it becomes difficult really to, do anything. Especially when you're me, and the way you are, the way you can communicate with others, the fact that you are articulate and can do social things to a certain point, it just flies in the face of everything that they know about us. And they will use those stereotypes as a reason to dismiss us. They will use those stereotypes to basically say, well, you don't understand the whole picture. You're not like A, B, C, or D. So I'm not going to listen to anything that you have to say because you don't really understand. Now, in regards to people getting upset in regards to why she did not cast someone who was on the spectrum. Well, let me explain it to you. Blackface is no longer accepted in Hollywood. We do not accept a white person painting their face with boot black in order to portray someone who is African American, yes? No, of course you don't. Of course you don't. That's unacceptable. The main problem with not casting someone with the actual spectrum disorder, you're possibly creating just another stereotype that it's going to take us another 30 years, maybe, possibly, to get over. And Sia is portraying someone who's nonverbal. And if anybody has been stereotyped by the media, it's been the nonverbals. Childlike, can't interact with the outside world, basically almost non-entities, if you will. Screaming, crying, not able to communicate, not able to interact, just completely detached from the outside world. The stereotypes are real and damaging. The truth is about nonverbals that they can communicate, and communicate very well. There are quite a few that are on Twitter and have their own blogs that write very beautifully about their experience. And fact of the matter is, if you're having someone portray a nonverbal who's not nonverbal, and their main source of information is like Autism Speaks and groups like that, all you're going to see is the same old, tried and true ad nauseum traits that they've been portraying in the media for nonverbals for years. Years. The meltdowns, the screams, the child mind, the infantizing of the person who is nonverbal. It's the same thing we've seen over and over and over again, instead of portraying this adult person with a fully functioning, matured mind. So, what I would like to see would be one of two things. Either have someone on the spectrum portray the role who does have at least some understanding of what it's like to be on the spectrum and who can show that in the performance and show what it's like instead of just an interpretation of what it's like. Or number two, if you're going to portray nonverbals, reach out to the nonverbal community. They are easily found at actually autistic hashtags, or you can ask us and we can direct. They do have their own groups, their own Facebook pages, talk to them. Talk to them. And that can give you a better idea of what the world is like through their eyes than simply relying on source material from people like Autism Speaks. Now, that kind of covers some of it. The rage of constantly being influenced, of being shown as children, as being shown as needing the neurotypical savior, the exaltation of the neurotypical that's going to come in, swoop in, save us, and how much of a hero they are for struggling through to help the person with autism. Done. We're all done with it. We've been done with it for years. It's dehumanizing. It really is. It exalts the neurotypical and treats the person with the actual disability as a non-entity. As though the person with the disability is simply a plot device for the non-disabled person to grow as a human being. It makes us an object, a plot device, not a human being. So, that was my rant on that. Now, as far as why we do not like her support of Autism Speaks, I'm going to put it real simple for you. Other than the stuff I've gone over before, Autism Speaks was at one time a supporter of the Judge Rotenberg Center. The Judge Rotenberg Center was known as the School of Shock. I've gone over it in many other videos. They also believe in eugenics prenatal testing so that people who have been found to have autism can be aborted, like Down syndrome children. There's a lot, there's debate there, I'm not going to deny, but there's also the fact, and this is the biggest one for me, that for all the billions of dollars that they raise, there is almost nothing used to actually help the families that they are supposedly speaking for. That's my big beef with them. Numbers and receipts don't lie. Don't we all know that on the JD hashtag? Oh boy, we do. And boy, when it comes to Autism Speaks, do I got receipts. But anyways, that's all I have for right now, folks. I do appreciate your time today. If you have any questions about the Sia musical, please don't forget to hit the comments. I myself am still really trying to be objective. I still don't feel like I have enough information to judge the project itself yet. I can say it's not looking good. It's really not looking good the more and more information that comes out. But I still want to know what the 13 autistic people that contributed to the film, what they have to say before I make any kind of judgment calls. Now, also remember, we don't get many views, so please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. I hope you have a good one. Bye.